Welcome to this presentation of the Rotary Club of North Bethesda, Maryland, USA. Our club was established in 1974. We meet every Friday morning at 7:45 a.m., and we often invite guest speakers to give presentations on all kinds of interesting subjects. Please contact us through our website at nbrotary.org. And thanks for watching.
Okay, well, good morning. I'm David Searby from Metro Bethesda Rotary. It's a real pleasure to be here today. John was telling me that there's some talk about possibly doing some changes with this club, and he suggested maybe bringing our club to this fine establishment because Paulette's breakfast was, in fact, pretty darn good. That omelet was top notch. I will bring this recommendation back to the board of Metro Bethesda Rotary, but this really is a great place, and it was a wonderful drive here this morning. Thank you for inviting me here today. I wanted to give you a little bit of overview of where this idea came from and what we're hoping to achieve with this idea of a new Rotaract model. Okay, so the essential idea is focusing on connecting the different parts of Rotary, in this case, the Rotarians to Rotaractors. It also responds to a desire from our club within our members to have more fellowship opportunities, and in particular, to have regularly scheduled happy hour opportunities, because we're, like you, a morning club. And it goes to the core of what I think Rotary is about, which is service. So when I was at the various training sessions for presidents, one of the ideas that they drummed into your head again and again and again and again was this idea: you gotta go outside the lines, you gotta do something different. And they raised this idea of an impact club. Now, impact club is like a satellite club in the sense that it's a part of your club that meets at a different time under different sort of rules. But with a satellite club, it's often with the intent that the other club is going to eventually break off and go off on its own. An impact club is like that, but it's designed to stay within your club permanently. And several clubs have done this very successfully. I think Annapolis Parole is probably the best example, where they started out, I think, as a breakfast club or a lunch club, and then now they're a breakfast, lunch, and dinner club with like 200 members. So what they learned was they didn't lose anything by getting more options. Well, when I brought this back to my club, I think it could have gone over well, with one exception. I had actually proposed lowering the fees, because the fees are often a stumbling block for especially younger folks. Young professionals, people starting a business who haven't quite made it yet. That's a stumbling block for joining a Rotary Club, is our fee structures for some of our clubs are pretty high. And that was, I think, the part that some of the people some people in Metro Bethesda love the Impact Club, some didn't, and the question for the fees. So that brought us to this idea, which is the idea of kind of combining it all with this proposal for a new Rotaract club. A Rotaract club, of course, Rotaract, the wing of Rotary that works with the 18 to 40-year-old part of Rotary. There are 200,000 Rotaractors around the world. Many of them go to the international conferences. They're some of the most vibrant people you see at these international conferences. They're wonderful. They often, in the United States, we're not as lively compared to some countries. We're not as active as we can do better. We have this amazing potential for taking our Rotaractors, developing them, and this is the key part, ensuring that they have a very good chance when they stop being Rotaractors, they don't just quit Rotary, they become Rotarians. Because the attrition rate is surprisingly high for Rotaractors. They do it a few years, and then there's just not that bridge into becoming Rotarian. So this is an idea that's supposed to help us do a lot of kind of, hit a lot of targets at once. And the only way it can be done is with joint effort. The only way we can do this is if we have the Rotaractors committed and we have some clubs committed and we share the work. And that's what I want to tell you about today, and share the funding, which is really not the big problem. I don't think our club, our main concern is the money that we would give, which would be small. I think it's the commitment to something. We want to make sure that if we start the commitment, that we follow through and something good comes out of it. So why don't we go ahead and start the presentation. And I love our motto for this year. We had Dolores Edwards Harding come speak to our club, our district governor. She came to talk to our club yesterday, and she was wonderful. It was a totally improvised meeting. We found out Sunday. We didn't have time to prepare, and it went great. She was wonderful. She talked about her vision for the upcoming Rotary year, and it fits in very well with what we want to do as a club. I'm sure we can take some of our foundation work. We have a very active foundation, gives out over $100,000 every year. A lot of it is generalized so that we get a lot of linked money on limited, unrestricted money. And then we get a lot of folks who say, I want to give money to this, but I want to do it for a Rotary. Why? Because we know the Rotarians will watch over it. And they'll do a great job managing it. And they're often Rotarians who do this, but they're sometimes not. They know us. Rotary is trusted. So I think that what we have is a really wonderful platform that's missing a way to connect all these different parts of Rotary into a stream that leads to here, to this breakfast room table, where younger people come and they end up at a place like this with us. So anyway, I am so happy to talk about this project today. Let's go ahead to the next screen. So if we do this MoCo Rotaract, by the way, MoCo Rotaract already exists. It's a small little club. I think Potomac Rotary started it. Wonderful little group of Rotaractors, but they've been basically meeting virtually. They're a pretty dynamic young group who have a lot of expertise in the medical field. One of the Rotarians who helped get them going is a doctor herself, Polity. I don't know if you know her. So they are, many of the existing, if not all the existing members of that club are interested in working with our new model, which I can explain in a second. But it really requires the joint support of different Rotary clubs. So the clubs that we've been talking to, my own club, my board approved this idea of supporting this club, contingent on finding 2 other clubs to officially say, we will dedicate a person to this, which means you got to show up at least 1 happy hour a month. And you're going to provide some money to it, to this idea. And you're going to give us at least one service project a year. And you design, you execute, and you invite everybody else. Okay. So we can talk also about other Montgomery County Rotary clubs supporting us.
Dave,
yes.
where is Potomac Rotary?
It's lovely. It's a very new area. I went to meet with them. I don't know exactly where they meet, but I know it's close to where I had like coffee with them one time.
It's Brightview Senior Living.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In
Brightview Senior Living
on Falls Road.
Yeah.
Near the.
I've never been to their meeting, but I need to go.
I went there.
Shall we? Let's go ahead to the next slide. So I said right up there, I hadn't had a chance to change this. The happy hour schedule would be bi-monthly, but it might end up being monthly or bi-monthly with one virtual meeting. We were talking to some of the existing members of the Rotaract Club, and they say that they're almost entirely meeting virtually, and a lot of them are not local. So just like you have some members that are coming in from afar, we're looking at the possibility of only having one happy hour a month at at least to start out with, and then one virtual meeting. So we would meet definitely bi-weekly for sure. The meeting would include the Rotaractors and the club representatives for sure. And we hope other people who want to just come for the happy hour. Maybe they don't actively participate in the meeting, maybe they do. We can figure that out. But it just will bring more people to this venue, and the venue is
the Rotaract meeting, not a Rotary.
Did I say Rotary meeting?
No,
This is the Rotaract meeting.
Right.
So the happy hour, the happy hour would be at 5:30 from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Probably monthly to begin with, and then if we get enough members who want to make it bi-monthly, we can do the happy hour bi-monthly. Rotaract. So all of these meetings we're talking about, every single meeting I'm talking about from now on is a Rotaract meeting. Every single one I'm talking about from now on is Rotaract. So in addition to the bi-monthly Rotaract meeting, which is either going to be 2 happy hours or a happy hour and a virtual meeting, certainly a happy hour and a virtual meeting to start. This club is going to help us put together a yearly schedule of service projects that everybody who's involved with commits to sending at least one person, But the beauty is a service project is, like you're doing on Saturday, that takes some time. It takes some money. That's the kind of thing that we can do together and then have an amazing turnout because you've got suddenly 5 or 6 clubs who are all committed to showing up for your service opportunity. And then I put one Zoom, one live meeting per month. So I did change the bottom part, but I didn't change the bi-monthly happy hours. Well, actually, we can make it a virtual happy hour. How's that? So we can raise a glass online, whatever it is, coffee, tea, or something strong. We'll see. All right, let's go. And then, by the way, we talked about doing it Tommy Joe's, but actually, we're meeting, which I'll tell you, we're meeting this Wednesday, August 23rd for the Rotary Red Line. So if you can make that. Rotary Red Line is the monthly happy hour event for the District 7620 clubs that are kind of near the red line of the Metro. And this week, this next coming week, August 23rd from 5 to 7 p.m., it's at the World of Beers in Bethesda, very near our club. It's walking distance from the Metro. So we'll be talking about this Rotaract project there. And instead of Tommy Joe's, that's still a possibility. We might end up doing it at a place like World of Beers. And then the other place in North Bethesda would be Pike and Rose, as you saw. All right. Okay. So the next question is, we talked about this before. Now, I will help the MoCo Rotaractors set this all up. This is my project as president, main project as president, is this. I want to get it off the ground. But the eventual goal is to have the Rotaractors telling us what to do and saying, hey, Metro Bethesda Rotary, BCC Rotary, Potomac Rotary, you're on the hook in 3 months. Your service project is coming up. What's the deal? What are we doing? And making sure that train schedule is running well. They're going to eventually be in charge of making sure that everybody is sending out the information to them on it, which then they disseminate. So even if they're not doing all the work, all the messaging is coming through one source, which is MoCo Rotaract. It really kind of gives them, without adding a lot of work, it really kind of makes them aware of so much. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the MoCo Rotaractors. Now, for my club, Metro Bethesda Rotary, we have 2 opportunities for service, one of which is just coming up. Are there any golfers here? September 21st. I'll send you information. It's the Purple Tee. It is the best golf tournament I've ever been in. And I'm not just making this up. It's over at Whiskey Creek. It's set Thursday, September 21st. And we have tons of opportunities for volunteering if you don't golf. Really great opportunities for volunteering. So if you can't golf, please just show up that day, have fun, support it. There's a silent auction that you can also help us on. And again, we're inviting Rotarians from all over. It's a very well-run tournament that supports highly effective, besides our own foundation, which I personally feel is doing great work, highly effective and efficient nonprofits that are helping veterans. You've heard about some of the veterans organizations that in the past weren't so good. Yes.
What are the costs?
It's at this point, it would be about $300 for the permit. I know it's a lot
For enforcing?
for one person.
Just check. Just check.
No, the greens fees for Whiskey Creek alone are about 100. The food is spectacular. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, about $50 or $60 there. So there's about $150 that are going to our nonprofits, and they are excellent nonprofits. The veterans organizations, one is the Salute Military Golf Association, which deals with wounded veterans, wounded physically, wounded mentally, or both. And that may sound like, oh, golf? Golf is amazingly therapeutic for someone who's been through PTSD. Someone who's lost a limb and can still hit that ball, gives them a great feeling. Lost a leg. We have some amazing stories to tell through SMGA. The other one is called TAPS, and that's a wonderful organization that supports families of fallen service members. And again, just two great organizations. That one's on September 21st. The other big one we have is Metro Move Fest, which is in BCC Rotary, or BCC High School. And it's this incredible blank slate we've created for the past few years of potential that we quite frankly need to do more with. There's so much more exciting things we could do on this one day. We just have a stadium full of cool people doing amazing movement-related stuff. So we're working on that. We've done 2. We've raised a lot of, oh, good, we're actually saying. Yeah, starting to move. We're actually doing some really wonderful work with different organizations that come and present themselves there. The main one is the Spirit Club Foundation. With Spirit Club works with people with disabilities for exercise. So it's giving people with disabilities, mental, physical, the ability to exercise. And then lots of other great nonprofits. And that's in May. We'll let you know about that. So then I'm sure Potomac Rotary has a great service opportunity. BCC has that wonderful turkey chase that we run. And then I think they also do these turkey deliveries, where you go to people's homes and you deliver turkeys. DC Rotaract is one of our more active Rotaract chapters in the entire 7620 area. They said that they'll help us get this off the ground, show up at the first inaugural thing, and design a service project once a year that we all can then support. Yes, sir.
Our club does a rock creek cleanup in the spring.
Yeah.
That would be perfect for kids.
So actually what I was going to suggest they do as their first, the MoCo Rotaract as their first service project is exactly that. A stream cleanup.
Yeah.
They do it all. In fact, what we will do is, one of the things I learned is nonprofits love volunteer work, but they love money too. Want to combine them both. So whenever we volunteer for something like Rock Creek Conservancy, which we like to do work with, is we like to give them a donation at the same time to honor their work, and we have a great relationship. Our clubs will provide the donation to the nonprofit, and then the kids will organize it all. MoCo Rotaractors will. Did you have a question, Ron?
Where do you get these Rotaract people from?
That's a good question. Some of them are in the existing MoCo Rotaract, but we all have to, before we actually formally launch, we have to, this is the punchline, we have to have 3 committed officers and 5 other committed members who will pledge 1 year of their lives. You know, just to try to keep 1 year of commitment of showing up, you know, once a month for happy hour, once a month for a service. And again, if they're going to miss some, it's not, you know.
And this starts with high school students.
No, high school is Interact. High school is 12 through 18.
Okay.
So Rotaractors are college kids and young professionals. We've talked to one wonderful person who is just at the cusp of that 18 to 40-year-old range. And she loves this idea because the dues are lower. It's easier for her to do a happy hour, but she really wants to then transition, and she's starting a business and maybe wants to save some money for her business, and then wants to transfer in a couple of years over to a Rotary Club. So, yes, sir.
You can't drink at 18 and go.
No, that's a good question. We checked into this, and you can have a happy hour with Rotaractors as long as you're more or less telling if you're telling the establishment, you're in charge of carding people. We're not. But if you know someone who's less than 21 is illegally drinking alcohol and you just turn your eye on it, that's not appropriate. That's not the Rotary way. But as a legal matter, Rotary is not responsible if we have a happy hour and someone is served alcohol. You know, it's not a legal matter. We do not encourage it, but it's not our legal responsibility.
It's the restaurant.
It's the restaurant's responsibility, and we will make sure they understand that. But at the same time, we won't turn a blind eye if we see it happen. But we've already checked with our Rotaract, the most recent Rotaract person on this very important issue that you don't want to miss. Anyway, let's keep on going. So yeah, we already talked about these two great Metro Bethesda service opportunities, TAPS and SMGA.
Okay. Next.
Yep. So the dues are to be determined, but compared to my club's dues, they're very minimal. You get $19 per year per member for Rotary International. You do an optional contribution to District 7620, which I would recommend doing. You do a minor contribution to pay for $20 or $30 worth of appetizers per meeting. You know, you just have a little table of food there. People are going to come. Self-funded food and beverages, so that allows you to get your dinner, get a beer, get a water, get a spritzer, whatever. But again, the major costs are helped. The major additional costs are covered by us Rotarians. I'll tell you later about the bigger events and the service costs, the Target gift cards, and how Target gift cards will play this. Go ahead,
David.
Yes.
You don't have the venue for meeting. Are these typically in the home?
The happy hours are in either in the Pike and Rose in North Bethesda, or the World of Beer, or Tommy Joe's. Now
so there's no separate charge for the meeting venue, not like
no, there will not be no separate charge. In fact, one of the neat ways we're going to do this is, I'll explain this in a second, but service can be, and this is a good question, this fits right into what you just said. Okay. The service can occur during happy hour, in the venue, in World of Beer, in Tommy Joe's, in Pike and Rose. How? Did anybody go to District 7620 this year, the conference?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember the little service project they did on the bottom left? So others may eat, or might eat, or might eat. Some. Yeah. Great nonprofit. Yes, and they started out just by giving away food to people. Now they're just building lives and empowering people. Incredible organization. So they came to us in the hotel with packages of, how are we doing on time? With packages of information, packages of food that were not organized, just big bulk boxes. And we made this little chain around a table and started stuffing one thing in, and while we're talking and music is playing, and within 35, 40 minutes, we had packaged all that, and some got up and talked about itself and said, Sun is awesome, Sun is doing all this, we're not just giving away food now, we're empowering people. You just got really stoked for some, and we made a donation to some that day, right? That was a service project. You could do that in a bar. You could do that in the back. You got a little table. You're setting up, right? You have, that little television I'm going to be bringing to your event. We're going to have that little television in a very welcoming place, the little sign-up sheet in the middle of the bar. You're going to walk into the bar, and they're going to see these crazy people walking around a table, putting in packages, and they say, hey, come here, join the line. Here, get in line. Yeah, I'll buy you a beer. And you've suddenly got another Rotaractor or another Rotarian. And you're talking about yourself in the middle of a public place in a very cool, easy way. And they see this video that basically, well, I didn't know Rotary fights polio. Dang, I thought you were a bunch of old guys like this guy, you know, who just sit around and network and try to grow their business. No, Rotary is so much more than that. So the other thing we can do is we can write thank you notes. You think kids these days, the younger generation, has lost the art of writing thank you notes? I do.
They don't know how to write.
I do.
They don't know how to write. Yeah.
They don't know how to write. You know, like, we take a piece of paper out and write on it. We're going to give the Rotaractors 20 names. We will have identified with their help. Jamie Raskin is the local guy here. He has a local hero every month. We won't just take his names, but again, we'll pinch some from him. We'll pinch from others. We'll nominate ourselves. Teachers, firefighters, policemen, someone who's done a good service, somebody who just deserves recognition. We'll get their name and address. We'll hand it off. Someone they don't even know is going to write them this wonderful letter for like 30 or 40 minutes. And they write, you know, both sides really think it out. And we're all just sitting there. We're all just sitting around writing our notes, talking to each other, telling our stories about this person, sharing the stories of our local hero, putting the Target gift card in there, putting a little stamp on it. We'll have to explain to young people what a stamp is too. And then put it into a mailbox.
With a stamp?
With a stamp.
What is that?
We'll explain it to them. It's high tech.
Snail
mail. Maybe they've heard of snail mail. So anyway, those are two service opportunities that you do in the middle of your restaurant that take almost no effort at all to set up, and it's service. And it has the added benefit of potentially drawing in somebody from the street who's never heard of Rotary. Next slide. So what is the attraction to Rotaractors? I think besides everything we've talked about, one of the things we can do is offer mentorship. Like we were talking about our friend Guido Delphia, right, Steve? I'd love to get Guido, and he's sort of Rotarian. He's a legend. He doesn't show up at a lot of our meetings. He does occasionally. We love him. He's an honorary member. Let's get Guido to show up and tell his story about being a travel agent and where it's heading now. You know, if you wanted to become a travel agent now, if you want to get into travel business, how would you do it now? You know, that kind of thing. And bring them to, buy them a beer and say, just talk to these kids and tell your story about Rotary work and where you see your industry. All of you have expertise.
Let's follow up. Maybe come here.
We're going to do it. We'll send them a picture. And so Guido is a great example of mentorship. Our clubs will, each Rotaractor liaison from each club, each Rotarian who's responsible for their interaction with the Rotaractors, is responsible for assembling your club's mentorship list, which does not only include your members, it includes all your friends of your members and your relatives. The kids want some expertise in AI. Anybody knows anything about AI? Kids want something in travel. The kids want something in real estate. Oh, I think we can find a few realtors come and talk to them. So, you know, or in medicine. So again, we will put together a platform of mentorship that we all can add to, like a little spreadsheet, and everyone has access to it. You know, the liaisons have access to it, and so we can add to it. And we can pull off of it, and we can invite these people to show up as speakers. And the other way we can help them is: have you guys ever put together a global grant? It is great. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of bureaucracy.
Yes.
But it is something that can be done. What I've told the Rotaractors is that after a year of being, you know, present, showing you're committed, we will help you be the lead organizer for whatever global grant you want, and we will walk you through the pitfalls of getting a global grant. If it's an international, we have a lot of international focused Rotaractors. Then we'll help you find the club in the country that would help you manage that. And we will find you the of the club that's not in the country, because you know the global grants require an international club that's not in the country to also put forward money to show that this is something that is international now. And then, you know, that'll unlock 7620 money, that'll unlock RI money, Rotary International money, and we can have some, we can show them. So every year, this club of, you know, Rotaractors can put together a $30,000 or $40,000, you know, project. Next slide. That's it. Any questions?
Yes,
Very interesting.
thank you very much for it.
Yeah. So I think the key is, the real key here is, do we get the Rotaractors? We get them signed up. We're hoping to do when we get a core group of Rotaractors who are willing to stand up and take the pledge, you know, on some day when we all do some happy hour somewhere. We need 3 solid officers, 5 solid folks. We'd love for you to reach to your network. I'll share something that's short and sweet, a 1-pager with you. Not the 2.5-page long thing I sent around, but a 1-pager with photos and stuff that kind of summarizes this. If you guys can find us one Rotaractor, that'd be fantastic. I'm going to go to Marriott, which is a corporate member of Metro Bethesda Rotary. I'm going to say, give me 3 Rotaractors. Are you kidding me? You've got a headquarters here. You can't give me 3 people who will go to a happy hour a month, who are in the 18 to 40 year, or you know, in the Rotaract. Rotaract goes up to 40, but technically you can be older as a Rotaract. But they encourage you after 40 to transition to the Rotaract.
40
Yeah.
I started when I was in like 32, and you started at 30 as well.
And remember, all you have to do is invite them to a happy hour to hear it. And it's a very different experience, I think. And I think,
David, I think if you can get other clubs, including ours, to do the things that you mentioned, everything from providing mentorships to one service project that they can work on a year, to donations. I mean, that would seem, if I'm a potential Rotaractor, to be a very attractive opportunity to join.
I agree.
Whereas, you know, if it's just join a Rotaract club with an unclear support and unclear program,
right?
It's completely different. So I think this is a potentially a very attractive model for establishing our
flexibility on how they attend is going to be very key at the beginning.
And low cost.
So, and it could end up being all happy hour. It could stay virtual 1 week and 2 weeks later happy hour. We've been toying with the idea of, you know, having the happy hour broadcast by Zoom or you know, just by somebody's cell phone so that people can listen in. But we'll figure it out.
And I think, you know, whether or not we merge with your club or VCC, our service projects hopefully will continue.
Love that.
And our members, hopefully many of them will continue. So no reason why we can't, I think, make a commitment and carry it forward wherever we end up.
I want to have an ice cream social next year.
Yes,
with a lot of Rotaractors there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Great way to start a Friday.
Yeah.
Start the weekend and TGIF.
Thank you
everybody on Zoom.
Thank you all for participating on Zoom.
Yes.